So let's have a quick look at the fundamentals to expect for the week. So if you are new, this is forexfactory.com. That is the news website I use to check my news. There are so many other news websites that you can use. So I'm interested in the red folders and then the yellow folders. So the first on Monday, so this morning, there's going to be German CPI. So CPI from Germany would affect CPI from Germany would affect the euro. So you need to keep an eye for the euro. So if you plan to trade the euro, so since it's affecting, there is something that most people don't pay a lot of attention to. Most people don't pay a lot of attention to. If it's affecting the euro, it means it will affect the pound too. So it's not just the euro, it's the euro and the GBP, the euro and the pound. Both will be affected if there is an euro news, right? And the next one, that would be the major event for today. So today, if you're looking for volatility, your focus should be on the euro and the pound, right? So GBP USD, GJ, Euro USD, anything with Euro or anything with JPY in it, anything with Euro or anything with GBP in it is what you should be looking at today, right? Because that is where the volatility would be. If you don't like the volatility, then you trade anything that does not have Euro or GBP in it. So you trade something like AUD, USD, NZD card, um, like anything at all. But another thing is if the euro is affected, CHF will also be affected. So these are some things that are very important. If there is an euro news, CHF will be affected, and GBP will also be affected. But the direct impact would be on the euro. So let's say the impact is like this is an approximation. I'm not saying these are exactly the numbers that would be like affecting these currencies, but since it's an euro is going to take the 100% hit, but it will be about 75 to like 80% hit on CHF and the pound, which is also very, very significant. So something to keep an eye on. So the euro, the pound, and the CHF is something to keep an eye on. There's going to be some activity on the USD, which is minor, but it's worth looking at. So your focus for today should be the pound, the euro, the CHF, and somehow the USD, which means euro USD, GBP USD would be something of interest to you if you trade these currencies. For Tuesday, there is a CHF CPI. Right? CHF CPI means that again the euro and the pound GBP will be the ones taking the hit when the CPI data is released. And then there is later in the afternoon in the New York session, there is USD and AUD later in the night, right? So the currencies that if CAD is affected, if USD is affected, another currency that will be affected will be CAD because the USD and CAD work hand in hand. And if AUD is affected, NZD would be affected. So the only thing that is not taking a hit on Tuesday would be, I think, JPY. So JPY wouldn't experience so much volatility on Tuesday, but any other currency would experience volatility because with CHF being volatile, that means euro will be volatile. That means if euro is volatile, then the pound will also be volatile, and later in the night, AUD is volatile. As such, NZD will also be volatile. And when the USD is volatile, it also affects the CAD. So sometimes the mistake some people do is that they'll be like, oh, there is USD news. So they are focusing on USD. USD would also positively impact CAD almost the same amount, right? So you should focus on that too. But even though I said JPY is not something to keep an eye on Tuesday, JPY is tricky. The way the JPY, I've said this before. If you are looking to be trading JPY, you should focus there. You should look at the Bank of Japan, their website, and their press releases and their Twitter account, because their releases mostly you don't find them here. They come up with, like, when the bank opens, they come up with this news release and press conferences. Sometimes you don't see them on Forex Factory, but it still affect the market. So something to keep an eye on. But there is no major event here on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, the USD will take another hit here, another USD here, which means it's also going to affect the card as well. So Wednesday, your focus would be on USD and card. And on Thursday is a China event. So if you're not really trading Japanese yen, Chinese events will also affect Chinese events will affect the yen slightly bit, but it's a yellow folder. So yes, you need to keep an eye on this, but not so much volatility will be expected from here. But Friday would be super crazy because we have NFP, right? Friday is NFP. This is the first NFP for the year, and we should expect some good activity, especially depending on how the ADP from here and the judge reports and the PMI respond to the market on Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's a build up. The data is a build up based on what the ISM and then the judge report says and what the ADP non-farm employment change says. It will give you an idea of how the NFP number is most likely going to be. So it's very important. So in summary, you see that the USD would be a very volatile instrument this week because it's going to take hits on Friday, Thursday, Tuesday, right? And this will mean that CAD will also take a lot of hits this week. So if your watch list has anything with CAD in it or anything with USD in it, it looks like you're on the right side. And it doesn't mean you make money. If you happen to be on the right side, you are most likely going to catch a lot of pips because there is volatility. Volatility means money, right? And it also appears that there is some good amount of activity with the euro and the CHF as well. So the top three currencies, if you are looking for volatility that I recommend you trading this week, would be anything with USD, anything with CAD, and anything with euro or CHF, right? So these are the top, like euro and CHF are almost the same, CAD and USD are almost the same. Like you might not understand, but it doesn't make sense. Like you don't really have to understand it. Like that we can have a lesson on that, but yep. So that is what you should be watching out for, and don't forget to always keep an eye on the fundamental data. Even if you don't trade it, you should know whether to stay clear when the news is coming or not. So that is something to keep an eye on. So I hope you keep an eye on this, even if you are just a technical trader. So it's late in the night. Why are there 46 people online? All right. So see you in the next video. I don't know when.